I'm Chris Newton, creator of Feed, the Vampire Mythos RPG. In 10-Minute Mythos, I prove the endless possibilities of vampire role-playing by taking one random inspiration and using it to sketch out an original vampire mythos, all in 10 minutes. No prep, no script, just one gamer who loves a good vampire story. Wish me luck. Today, for this episode, I'm using a random prompt from 7th Sanctum that's been selected. I actually had my beautiful assistant, Katrina, choose it for me, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to look at it now, and then we'll see if we can make a vampire story out of it. Okay, it looks like this is the mecha namer. Alright, so the prompt is Phantom Suit Grand Bat. So if my microphone is doing its job, you may be able to hear aforementioned assistant giggling off screen. So, Phantom Suit Grand Bat. Well, the first thing is this obviously implies some kind of like mechanical or artificial source of vampirism, which is sort of an original idea. I like it a lot. So let's see if maybe, but you know, it doesn't have to be a mecha necessarily. We don't have to go in a sci-fi direction with this. The suit could be something else. It could be like a literal suit even, like a you know, a business suit or like a tuxedo or something like that. And that seems like it could be kind of cool. So let me just brainstorm some ideas here. One possible thing you could do is to have like some kind of like nanotech or like sort of make-believe hand-wavy thing that makes a suit, like an actual suit, somehow give you vampiric powers or allow you to soar around. Like I'm sort of imagining a Victorian scene here, like almost a sort of dark, like steampunk kind of, but not like gear steampunk, like Victorian setting with science fiction, high-tech elements, something like that. But yeah, maybe that's what we should do. Or maybe we could scrap the sci-fi thing and the technological thing altogether and just go with a supernatural aspect to this. Phantom Suit Grand Bat. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this should be... I definitely want London. This seems right for London. As to whether it should be past or future or something like that, we could go in kind of like a Demon City, Shinjuku sort of direction, where it's like the city that you know, but transplanted into the future, and with supernatural elements involved in it. Kind of torn between these two ideas. But let's skip that aspect of it for now, and go on to like the feel and the strain and all that. Because I like the idea of vampirism that comes from an object that is somehow, whether it's technological or not, that it somehow becomes integrated into the person through the thing that they wear. So what this makes me think of is the idea of like taking the cyberpunk idea of technology impinging on humanity, and combining that in a way with the sort of Vampire the Masquerade or Requiem idea of vampirism conflicting with humanity. What you could do is have vampirism as a basically cybernetic condition in the true sense of that word, that it's combining something non-human with yourself and like working it into the fabric of who you are, in a way that starts to change you, and starts to kind of blur the boundaries between you and this thing that you've added to yourself. So Phantom Suit Grand Bat could be a thing that you put on, that becomes a part of you. I like the idea almost of a Spring-Heeled Jack, like these are these mysterious creatures who exist and kind of stalk the streets of London at night. And the secret of them is that they've turned themselves into something more than human with these suits, which need to be kind of secret, need to be kind of contraband. So maybe what we could do, I really do like the technological angle here. So maybe what we could do is take a somewhat of a steampunk aesthetic, but then sort of combine that with cyberpunk. So this is really the future, but maybe you could have like an old London thing. Like you could make it part of the setting that this is sort of a renovation of a sort of like a regional pride, like let's move London back to looking more like Victorian London. So this is like a near future story. There's a strong civic and social aesthetic for moving backward and creating a sort of Victorian feel in architecture and people's lives. Some of the fashions have gone back in that direction, and yet the and maybe in fact this could be a reaction to new technology that's threatening social structure and changing people's lives. And part of that could be this sort of, whether it's nanotech or whatever it is, basically a cybernetic technology that you can integrate into yourself. I like the idea of combining this with information, actually, because information technology is a big place to do, speculative kind of high concept sci-fi, given today's technology and where it's going. So what we could do is have little like kind of nanites that interact with information in some way. So what people are doing is they're combining it with themselves in a way that gives them a greater sensory awareness, and it connects them to other people in a sense. So like when you have this thing, when you have these things in you, you're getting all this data, you're getting all this input, and it actually goes in a gothic direction of giving you like empathy, giving you preternatural awareness, that sort of thing. So what you could do is take a lot of gothic tropes and ideas of like what the Victorian or monstrous vampire would be like, and transplant them into a technologically driven setting and strain. So basically, in this setting, it's like Neo-London, and there is this kind of dangerous technology that you can use to change yourself. This thing that you can put on to gain these special abilities, and these would be things like I want people kind of soaring over the streets. I want stealth, like camouflage. I want especially a change of your life experience, like a change of your psychology. So you can, when you look at people, you're getting all this extra data, their heat, all these different vital signs, like sort of like facial recognition, like machine-driven empathy, all that stuff. And people love this for various reasons. Some people just want to prey on others. Some people need to protect themselves. Everybody kind of wants this technology, but it's strongly regulated. You could also go with the surveillance aspect of London, and you could kind of change that so that by putting these things on, you're sort of evading that surveillance, and yet you're becoming that yourself because of the much greater extent to which you can sort of spy on people. So it's like going from being the one who's watched to the one who's watching. What is the actual phantom suit, and where does it come from? That would be a key aspect of the setting. I'm not sure exactly what you would do with that. I don't want to really go with like government backing. I want this to be private. It seems like it's more fun if it's people who are doing this kind of illegal, dangerous thing. There could be people in government who use it, but I also want there to be like rogue people who are like breaking out of social structure. That's one of the classic tropes of vampirism, is people who are sort of escaping the constraints of normal society through this condition. So let's do that. Let's say that people can get this technology. They can get these suits somehow. Where they come from and how they actually do that. Maybe the technology is somehow like self-replicating, or maybe it can be fabricated somehow so that people can make it themselves. I'm not really sure where to go with that, because it's going to be a key element. It's like, because I imagine these people being kind of on the run from normal society. They're definitely outcasts, and I want these people like, again, swooping through the streets, hiding, and they're hiding from something. They're hiding from authorities who want to kind of force them back into a regular life. So where that technology comes from, I don't know. I'm running up against time here. So basically what I have right now is the basic concept of a mechanical or a technological infectious vampirism that changes. It's almost like a transhuman, like you become a vampire through this technology. It's nanite and information technology. You become connected to people in a weird way. Authorities don't like it, and so you're sort of like anarchist vampires in these phantom suits in the streets, living this forbidden life and being hunted for it, and simultaneously hunting others because you need the blood to fuel this technology. Maybe this started as a techno-biological weapon that people have basically adopted as a lifestyle. So it's like it's a weapon that becomes a life for people, but it requires them to do what the weapon was designed to do, which is to kill. So something like that, maybe like the engineered remnants of like a techno-organic virus that wiped out the original city and led to the construction of a Neo-London. So this may need to be a little bit further in the future, and yet it has a very old-timey feel. So it's sort of like future cyberpunk, steampunk, Victorian aesthetic along with sort of transhumanist technology, speculative fiction questions. And basically the feel of the game is you're a rogue. You're using technology to make it on your own. You now live by the sword. You've escaped this very safe, very authoritarian society by turning yourself into one of the weapons that destroyed humanity, while now trying to remain human. But as you learn more, the information and the technology that bonds with your body is fundamentally changing the kind of creature you are. So it raises the question of, at what point do you cease being human? So that's all we have time for, and I think it's a reasonably good start. So there you go, 10-minute Mythos.